On today's episode of the Canadian Real Estate Show, Darryl decides to interrupt TK far less often than he typically does.
On today's episode, Darryl asks TK to actually check his mic when he goes, mic check, mic check.
The feds launch mortgage refinancing program to boost secondary suites and ease housing crunch.
TD Bank fined $3 billion US after pleading guilty in historic US money laundering case.
Toronto rental starts slash in half as high cost of financing cuts into profitability.
Economy added 47,000 new jobs in September. Unemployment rate ticked down.
After 3 interest rate cuts, Canada's housing markets are finally making a comeback, Royal LePage blog.
Ontario companies allegedly charging foreign workers tens of thousands of dollars for jobs.
The police investigate after Vancouver anti-Israel protester burns flag, shouts, "Death to Canada!"
Here we go. Okay, Mr. TK, here we are once
I'm so
again.
excited. You know what, though? I feel like time flies, right?
It's like
by the time I'm answering the comments and like checking out how many views we got, we're already recording.
We're recording another episode.
I know.
And things are moving and things are happening. It's like
I got some market knowledge this week, I'll tell you. I
got some knowledge this week?
Conditional sales this week.
How many?
4 that were all from, things that have been working
listings?
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'm double subscribed. Do it yourself. Didn't get to fix the show, though.
3 are listings, 1's a buyer. So it's like, things are moving. Things are moving. Not to say like get excited, pump the market moving or anything like that. Like, I'm not saying any of these prices were that great. And when I bought the one property, it definitely, we got a good deal on it. But there were some multiple offers. I lost out on one multiple offer. Another one I was
are you fucking for real?
Yeah, we were gonna buy this one house, and we were like, let's offer like 100,000 under asking because it was X, Y, and Z, and we thought we knew what we were talking about. And then all of a sudden, there's 3 offers on it, and it's sold over asking. And I was like,
"Where's this?"
Geez, it's all like Central Toronto.
Central Toronto, multiple offers, losing. So what do you know what it sold for or how much over asking?
One was like 30 grand over asking. The other one was
there was more than one multiple offer
one we
situation?
participated in and we lost. The other one we were going to make an offer and then I just told them no because we didn't see the value, but there was 3 offers. I think that one was like just over asking too. Nothing crazy. Ooh-wee.
Please subscribe and
so are these prices compared to peak? Where are we at?
No idea. But the main thing is there is some competition. Like one I did this morning. Oh, it was so nice this morning. I went, the agent, he said, old school guy, right? He's like, I want to come to the property and meet with you guys. And I want to sit down with the sellers and bring my buyers. And we're going to sit on the driveway and we're going to do the deal. I said, I love it.
Is he going to bring a carbon copy?
You know what? He had multiple copies. He had multiple copies just in case.
Just in case.
And we went back. We did the dance, and I'm handwriting my clauses in and crossing out and scratching out. And we did the dance,
the good old days.
And he was just like, dun, 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 and my sellers were like, dun, 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 and everybody was just moving to the beat, And in the end,
did you get the deal done?
The deal was done.
The deal got done.
The deal was done. And I believe that everybody walked away a winner, including
firm deal.
The buyers, no, conditional, but conditional only on inspection, and we're not really too concerned. But even the dining room table was included, Darryl.
Even the dining room table.
It's nice. It's like a 18-foot like slab, with the resin and all that stuff. It was like $35,000 table. Nice table.
Okay,
but it fit that room. I said, guys, where are you going with this table?
Yeah, what do you think you're going to do with that table?
Where's this table?
How'd you even get it in the goddamn house?
But where are you going to store it? Where are you going to go?
Put that
Who's going to lift it for you? I said, guys,
hey, hold on a sec. Back up a sec, mister. Back up a second.
Okay.
Last time we spoke, last week on this channel, you told us you had like 8,000 listings, right?
I know.
And so now you're coming to us with 3 sales out of those listings. So what was your batting average, and how are the rest of the listings looking right now?
The
Are
rest
there
of them
action?
had
What's
some
going
price
on?
improvements, different things going on, and they're all getting action. I think I got another offer coming in on 2 of them actually. So things are, looking better. Like we're in a fall market. I'm not pumping the market here. The market's not going up. None of these prices are that fantastic. It's just that, there's action. There's buyers who have a genuine need to buy real estate out there right now. So they're out shopping. What
They're
else are they
out
going to
there
do?
shopping. I
They
mean,
need a house to live in, Darryl.
I was
No
gonna
investors.
you can kind of tell by our views whether people are kind of into real estate at the moment or not into real
I don't know
estate.
if that's a gauge.
It's a real gauge, TK.
It's a real gauge.
It's a real
The
gauge,
Canadian
TK.
real estate show gauge.
Jeez.
Market indicators.
We're a huge market indicator. We can
Early
move
market
markets according
indicators.
to some
Early
people.
market indicators are
We're
the Canadian real
able.
estate show's views are down.
TK,
Market's
didn't
about to
you know
crash.
that when you say that the market's going, all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's going? That's how powerful we have become.
I do not have that power,
But
and no
hold on
one
a
listens
sec.
to this show.
We are seeing, I'm seeing price reductions even on my street. I'm hearing, actually, I'm seeing a lot of launches recently of like, I guess, phase 2s and phase 3s. And it seems like some guys are out there testing the market. I see a big, juicy, beautiful deal that's coming to market soon, right across the street from mine. And it's going to help me set kind of my parameters. But it seems like people are kind of launching a few things again, testing the waters out. It feels like there's activity out there.
I saw a lot of receiverships actually this week.
More receiverships. Oh,
new round of receivership properties coming out, commercial properties. And some of them are weird too. Like they bought the property like 30 years ago for like $1 million. Now it's up for 9 million. Like they were just refinancing that thing over and over and over again, taking the cash out, and then they lost it. And the one property I was looking at, the guy bought it for a power sale back in like 95. And now he's under receivership.
What?
Nope. 30
what the
years
hell
later.
Doing this whole time?
I don't know.
What was it? It was an apartment building, or what was it?
Mixed use. So I think there was some offices on top.
Another example of me not listening to you when you said the answer already?
No, I don't think I said the answer. But there's some offices on. I can't remember what I just said like 10 seconds ago. But the bottom line is this:
with offices. What?
There's a mixed use property with offices on the top. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so
obviously, you office market, right? I got another client with an office property too that's struggling, and so she tried to convert it to residential, but she just did it without a permit. So she's got like work happening. So then that got shut down.
Beautiful.
And then I tried to connect her with Greg and all that, but she just doesn't want to pay the price. And this is what happens.
Well, this is a good segue into the new CMHC thing where they're allowing anybody and everybody to borrow up to $1.8 million on a $2 million loan to value of the renovated additional unit price. So so maybe let me back up a sec. So CMHC changed some
residential
more rules,
mortgage,
right?
Resident 4 units or less.
If you want to add 1, 2, or 3 more units to a property, right, depending on, I guess, how many units you already have on the property, they will give you an insured mortgage for an amortization of 30 years at the best possible rate of up to 90%
loan to value. Yeah.
But not loan to value, loan to future value, based on what you're going to build there. So if you're going to put another 3 units on this thing and somebody says, hey, this thing's 2 point whatever million, like they're going to give you $1.8 million. And all you're going to have to put in is 200,000 and lie about your income
for a $1.8 million mortgage afterwards, because it's residential, and how they calculate income on the rental units is they're only going to use 50% of that rental income. So how much income do you bloody need in order to be able to actually make this work? Darryl, come on. Who is going to get a $1.8 million mortgage this way? Who?
All the people that will pay for documents that show, because listen, do the math. Some of these will
fraudulent income documents will obtain maximum.
Oh, there's none of that in the market.
Whatever.
That never happens. This is insane.
If that's what we're relying on, this is just another federal program. Like, why do we keep believing the federal government every time that they send out a new housing policy? And we're always like, wow, people are going to use that. I can't even imagine the type of property that somebody's actually going to be able to use the full potential of this program on.
What do you mean? Okay. Take, for example, a bungalow in North York for $1.25 million, let's say. Okay. And it needs work. It's one unit currently.
Okay.
And you're going to put a unit in the basement. You're going to add on to this thing, and you're going to spend some money, and you're going to spend a
great job. 4 units and
4 units, 1.95
you're in another million. So you're in $2
million.
million. Boom.
Yeah. Boom. $2 million.
Done.
Okay. And so what does it make
How
after
do you
pay your
qualify
mortgage?
for a $1.8 million mortgage?
Okay. Here.
Oh, there's a mortgage insurance premium too. So it's probably 1.85.
You are looking for a loan, and you're coming to me because you got my number from Rajid. My name is Rakesh. Okay.
So 400K income.
I live in Brampton, and you are calling me looking for one of these loans.
Don't target.
No, but this is where it's going to happen. Let's be real, okay? This will be the epicenter of this.
$400,000 income that I've got, right?
Yeah.
I can make you maybe papers. 450. Whatever the numbers are.
All kinds of papers. Just give me some money.
So you got, how much income are you creating? So you got what? 10 grand a month in rental income.
What do you need? Tell me what you need.
So $120,000
a year. $500,000 a year.
How much is your income? Does it equal? They're only going to use half of the residential income.
You want bank statements? Maybe for the last 7 years.
They got expenses. So let's assume that you might be able to add 60, 80. Let's just say you can add $100,000 to your income. You needed 450. So you have $350,000 income.
You can make anything happen.
Plus your little rental income. And now the government, that's what this is. The government is going to make sure that you have access to that capital. I'm sorry, Darryl.
People are going to be bidding against people that value it with multiple like an election units.
Promise, Darryl.
It's going to happen again. It's like the laneway suites.
Break it down.
Are people not looking at laneway suites now? And they're looking at the house going, you know, if I add the laneway suite and I take out the loan and I rent it out, then I can afford this house.
Yeah, they're better off.
This is that on steroids.
No, they're better off to do a 4-plex with a 5th unit so that they can obtain commercial financing so that they can use 100% of the income and they don't need to have $350,000 worth of taxable income with no other debts on their
Does it work
profile.
That way? If you're 5, you're
if you got 5 units above, now you got a commercial loan, which they're going to use through debt coverage ratios, 100% of the income in order to be able to qualify. And if you make the numbers work, which they don't work, otherwise we'd be buying 5-plexes left, right, and center around the city, but the numbers don't work.
I think these numbers work in the scenario that I described. I think they work actually very well, and I think there'll be incentive to do it.
I hope.
And you need no money.
It's not like I don't want it to work. I hope everybody uses this program to build more housing and buys more rental properties and lives a good life. Why
you're missing the point. It doesn't work without the fraud, though, TK.
Okay.
You need the fraud component for this idea to work.
Okay. Right? Anything to do with the government eventually leads to somebody abusing the system. Kind of fraud. It's just how it works.
Well, so talk about abusing the system. Let's roll on to this next story here. With TD Bank gets fined $3 billion. How
often does it? They keep getting fined. Like FinTrack was all over.
This is in the States, though. I don't think this is for shenanigans here. This is for shenanigans in the States, because here we don't do anything about it.
Money laundering.
We don't give a shit about money laundering here. We encourage it.
Yeah.
TK. We want money laundering here. Otherwise, the whole thing falls apart. See, this is why when people are out there calling for the fraud to stop in the market, they don't realize how much of it there actually is in the market and how detrimental it would be. Like you want prices to come down, TK? Pull that move, okay? Pull that move where you actually can check with the CRA the documents, right?
When is that coming? That's something
never going to come, because that will. They're not trying.
We've been talking about that for a long time, right? Like with the mortgage brokers, they've been petitioning for it. It's like, why don't we just have a centralized system where when you plug in somebody's name into some sort of computer, John Smith, born this date with this address, how much money does he make? Why is that not like just public information where everybody can know what that is? Or if not public information, some sort of secure information for banks, to be able to access and confirm that person's
lenders, not just banks, lenders, right? You should be able to access that, because
mortgage brokers, lenders, whatever. But
if you plug the hole with the bank, guess who's lending out more loans, right? It's those private guys.
Something is going on there, and that'll help a lot. But at the end of the day, money laundering, this is the way I look at it like the pharmaceutical companies or anybody else. They literally sit around the room and they go, okay, what do you think the fines can be if we get caught doing this.
Yeah.
And how much money do you think
should
we could
we
make
put aside for when they catch us?
If we do it. Oh,
Right.
okay. All right, good.
Yeah,
that's just like corporate, because they've got that
risk
immunity,
reward.
right? The directors and CEOs and everybody else, like they have that immunity that protects them. So they're kind of just like, you know what? This is a good business decision.
Yeah.
Right.
This makes sense. Right.
So nothing surprises me.
And they pull accounting and legal in them, and they ask them and they go, you know, if we do this, like, what's going to happen? And they tell them, you know what? Not a good idea. I mean, numbers wise, it's a fantastic idea. You're a genius, but I wouldn't advise it. But
they need a spiritual
do what
advisor.
You want, right?
They need someone to come in there, whether it be a priest or a rabbi or, you know, somebody who does a lot of meditation. And they should just come in here and say, guys, reach deep into your soul. How do you really feel about this decision, providing fraudulent documents and access to money launderers for people who kill other people, you know? And then just see what they say. They probably still would make the same decision, but at least they could consult a spiritual advisor.
Probably go to therapy and ignore it, and they just keep going. But listen, $3 billion, and to just be able to go, you know, we've already kind of projected this, and we've had this put aside, and here you go.
A lot of money for me and you, but TD Bank, $3 billion. I don't think that they're too concerned about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later.
And then they also have all these ways of not paying it right away. That's the other part.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
We pledge to pay it back at some point in time.
Exactly. So there's another way for them to be able to, skirt the rules and to be able to keep on doing what they're doing. That's okay.
Maybe a little incentive now to make back $3 billion as quick as possible. Might be somewhere in those boardrooms cooking.
Exactly. We'll pay you with the interest that we earn on the $3.5 billion that we were going to pay you. Right. And so that we don't actually have to pay you that $3.5 billion, but it's coming. It's earmarked for you. It will come. 50
Do a
years
press
from
conference.
now, I don't know, but that money's yours. Once our money doubles, you'll get it because technically we didn't pay you anything. Oh, by the way, that money we're using, it's our customers. It's not even really ours. The people that we stole from. Yeah. So
it doesn't even really exist. We like pressed a few buttons and all of a sudden there was money and like we were going for dinner and everything was great. Okay. So TK. Okay. So another nothing burger after another nothing burger. What else?
Don't believe the media. That's my problem. That's all it is.
You don't believe the media. Yeah. What do you listen to? Because I don't know what the hell you're listening to. You never seem to be following the same line of a story that I am. Yeah. And you're following stories. So what the hell are you watching? Where that coming from?
My information from?
You watching Instagram like everybody else that watches our show, TK?
Yeah. Hey. That's a good time for us to talk about subscribing and liking the content.
I think that's great. Well, right? Wait, you picked up on that like a genius right there.
Wow, guys, come on. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, share, check us out on Instagram. Do we got
Spotify?
Reviews? We're getting Apple reviews, Daryl?
No, but we got another Spotify review. And thank you to Gene on Spotify, who's like sending I don't know if it's reviews or comments, if that's the same thing. I don't really know. I know that people listen to us there, TK.
Engage.
People listen to us and watch us all over the place. And we got some plans over here, TK. We are going to explode.
And I got a link below for people who want to book a call with me to talk real estate. Don't have any more t-shirts to give away right now, but if you want to talk real estate, the link is below.
The t-shirts are gone. There's still a few left that I need to send out, but don't ask for any more t-shirts because there's none.
There will be more soon. You can ask for more. Just wait till we announce it because we're going to have a
new line of
our
t-shirts.
Setup. We'll have our setup. Yeah,
that's
new
right.
Line of t-shirts.
So TK, there are other things going on out there, and I'm just trying to figure out where we should go.
Can I tell a story?
Of course, here it's TK Corner time. TK Corner.
This week, something tragic happened to me.
On TK Corner,
my wallet was stolen.
Oh no, stolen or you lost
my car? Stolen.
Out of your car. You feel violated?
I made the mistake of going to the gym and not locking my locker. Many a times in the past, I had changed my clothes and left my car keys in my locker without any incident to be seen.
Inside job.
But this time, it was different.
This time was different.
Doing push-ups. I was benching around 350. At least that's how I remember the story.
Oh.
And as I was doing about my 13th or 14th rep of this incredibly heavy weight.
Yeah.
Over twice my body weight. And I got a notification on my phone that said, "Was this you?"
Oh, no.
This seems a little suspicious. But checking the history on my text, it turned out it was a TD text, initiated text. And I said, no, that wasn't me, just happened.
So are you Biden? You just nobody.
I went to get my keys, Darryl. I went to get my keys. They weren't there. I said I must have left them in the car. I went to get to the car. The car was locked. I put 2 and 2 together.
Oh,
and
you're good at that.
Inside my body dropped to the floor.
As opposed to the stomach 3 times outside of your body. Okay.
And I said, damn, I've been screwed. I've been robbed. And I then looked throughout multiple accounts because I had a few different cards in there, and they were fast within 15 minutes. Because this was like 20 minutes later, maybe. So maybe half an hour. So for sure, they had taken the card, gone out, and done all this. They've been to multiple stores and took at least, there's a little bit of cash, a little bit of ID, things like that I had to replace, which is a pain. But the bank replaced all the money. But it was at least $1,500 maybe in taps, buying gift cards, gas stations, and convenience stores. They were quick. So I reported it to the police, reported it to the gym. So far, no one's been caught, and my expectations are very low. But I learned a lesson. My one lesson that I learned is I don't need to have all my cards in my wallet at all the time. I got it on my phone. How often am I really out there? I got a gas card. I can always come home if I need it. And 2, lock up your keys, folks, when you're at the gym. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for that, TK. I appreciate the story.
What's your take?
People come here for stories that have nothing to do with not only real estate, but that literally had nothing to do with anything. TK.
I'm just letting people know what's going on in my life.
And everybody know this is my show, and I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want on it.
I was robbed blind. Kudos to him. That's what I say.
It was to him. You left the door unlocked, man.
I hope he spent that money. The locker. I hope he spent that
the locker unlocked.
Wow. I hope he had the time of his life.
It's
and that
in
he
the
never
title.
Gets caught, and that he lives a good, happy, long life.
Where did you leave your keys, TK? In a what? In a what? A what?
A storage unit inside the change room.
Yes. Well, they're made to lock things.
Yeah, I always locked it.
That is the laziest eventually I lost my lock ever.
And then the new gym I went to, I never locked. And I said, this is good because the cameras, you scan in. It's so like the security there is amazing. You can't get by without scanning in. So for sure, the guy's a member. You can't get in without scanning your phone every single time you come in.
For sure, he's a member, or he works there.
He works there. I think it was an inside job.
I think it's an inside job. Somebody knows that you do that.
He still has my keys.
He still has your keys.
So I've been parking my car very convenient on the driveway, hoping he steals that too. Because I'd love to buy
car, please.
Car like
I live at.
Yeah. And, I'm sure insurance will sort me out.
Yours is the only car in Toronto that won't get stolen.
I'm trying to get
Put
stolen.
a sign on it. Steal me, please.
I'm faking a wallet theft just to be able to get my car stolen. It's just not working.
We know ways to get your car stolen, TK. We'll talk off camera.
Apparently I do. I tried to get the fraudulent mortgage a few years back. Remember, a client asked me and he said, hey, can you find one of these Brampton mortgage people? So I asked 10 mortgage brokers and I was like, do any of you guys know how to get this mortgage I've been hearing about? Because this guy's in need and that was the situation. And they all said no. And I gave up. I said, sorry, buddy, I don't know the right people. So that was it.
Well,
I even found an ad online that said they would do that. And I sent him the guy's number and he called me back and was just like, no, that guy said he doesn't do it either. I was like, all right, sorry, man. So I don't think it's that easy to find. I'm not in the criminal world. Okay. I need to hang around with more low bottom people. Got to go to the right places or the wrong
low bottom people. All right. TK.
Yeah.
If there's anybody else here still, which I'm here. I have to be here. I don't know if anybody else has to be here anymore.
Okay, sure. What's your story? Let's hear your story.
Well,
about
I don't have a story that I didn't think people would.
The time you spilt the milk down the side.
You want to hear my car story about keys being stolen, T-Guy?
Sure. No, actually, I don't.
Nobody fucking does.
Nobody cares, Darryl.
Canadian, supposed to be Toronto real estate show, right? What do you think about these jackets? I think people are tying the jackets to being liberal and to thinking, we want Justin Trudeau kicking around. I think
they accuse me of that more than you.
Well, you do say some pretty liberal things. I don't know if they're liberal, but I mean, you probably got them from being in meetings with JT because I don't know.
Let's just say one thing, all right? That voting for the other guy has always worked well for me, all right?
Yeah.
Because the only thing that I don't like...
voting is real.
Voting is real?
Voting is real.
Voting is real. Well, I like to vote. Yeah, I vote every election.
Yeah, it works. They count it.
Anyways, moving on to the next article.
The next article, TK, maybe we have some good news. You want to give some good news for the people that still aren't here?
Good news.
after 3 interest rate cuts, Canada's housing markets are finally making a comeback.
Says who?
Royal LePage blog. Boom. No, but don't you feel that way? Don't you feel like
this
things are
week,
back?
if you were to look
just
at my
me.
particular business, yes, you would say that the markets are ripping and roaring.
Well, so this is what happened at Royal
I'm
LePage.
watching inventory pile up.
Can you call TK and just get a little read on the TK meter, and
Royal
we can
blog.
write if they followed your career.
Give me one blog that they wrote over the last 30 years or 10 years that says something that doesn't mean that the market's about to take off or just took off. Because I guarantee you they've never written a blog where they were like, now is not a good time to buy as prices decrease and buyers should be very careful.
You should be really scared right now. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? Why are you even reading this article? Don't read anything that says real estate.
Ignore real estate for like 2 years.
At least.
They never wrote that blog.
You don't think that Royal LePage has ever put out something like, in the next 36 months, we have a pretty decent feeling that real estate will be okay again? No? It's too wide a gap, 36
they
months.
Would say, really although the last few months have shown
anything.
Considerable stress on the real estate market as prices decline, we are optimistic due to the lack of new supply coming onto the market and further cuts to the interest rates that are expected to be coming in the next few months. Buyers should be taking advantage now of this opportunity to buy. That's how they talk. It's been going on forever. Read every market release since the history of any Toronto Real Estate Board market data or any press release from Royal LePage or any of the other big brokerages. It's always the same thing.
Always the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like Ford saying don't buy cars right now. It's a bad time to buy cars.
Oh, that Ford. Yeah. Politicians are the same though, right?
They politicians are
standard issue responses.
Well, the standard issue responses change depending on who they're in front of and what they're trying to raise money for or trying to, get done, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
They I think they have writers now too, which I guess we should have because we're all over the place. Even though TK, I keep trying to kind of bring us back to the center, you are all over the map today. And I did quite enjoy your car story. But TK.
No, it was a wallet story. But anyways, go ahead.
Well, that's true.
The car had very little to do with the story. But thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. I'm so glad I got a friend like you who, when I'm sharing my deepest, darkest secrets about my most painful memory of the week where I was, nearly in tears on Sunday night.
Back onto real estate for Christ's sakes the whole time.
You have such compassion for my situation.
I have none, TK. Yes. Just to be clear.
I spent all day Monday going to different banks getting new cards and lost half a day of my life. But thank you for your compassion to move me on to the next topic.
Yeah. What else do we got going on right now? Did we talk about that? Did we talk about the rate cuts and everything being good, or we just pass that off as total bullshit, right? Because things are not good, even though we're seeing bidding wars and you sold 4 houses this week.
Yeah. Well, if you paint it like that, you might,
if you paint it in a good light, then of course
there might be something going on in the market that's pretty positive. But I think it's very seasonal. I'm talking to the people who are buying. They're very natural buyers. They're just like, I need a property. I need to live in. I've already sold. I need to, the guys this morning were like, their kids
natural
just moved
buyer.
And so like, they're not buying because of an opportunity in the market, or they think that prices are going to go up, or they
did you all of a see sudden that buyer? He was super unnatural. Like he was totally unnatural.
There's people who buy, it makes no sense. And you ask them a couple of years later and they say, well, why would you buy this house? And it was just like, well, I didn't really need it. It was just, there was an opportunity and the interest rates were low. And I thought the market was high. And they buy for these silly reasons. But there's lots of other buyers, just like sellers. There's some people who sell because it's like opportunity, take advantage of the market. They think it's going to go down. Playing the market is literally the worst decision anybody can make, both on the buy and the sell side. But then there's natural sellers where they're just like, yeah, my mom passed away and we sold her house. Yeah, we got a divorce. We didn't need it anymore. Yeah, I bought a house already. I need to sell my house. Like it's a reason that's going to always exist. It's always going to keep real estate agents in business, whether you agree with real estate agents or not, or AI or whoever. Bottom line is there's always going to be this need for people to buy and sell real estate that is natural and that will never disappear. It won't.
People are talking about another 0.5 point rate cut, which sounds like crazy.
That's aggressive, but I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't rule it out. I stopped guessing on rate cuts in like 2022. But bottom line is right now, if you've got unemployment rate starting to tick back down again, and they're adding jobs in September, that's going to be a pretty strong factor that the Bank of Canada is going to consider on October 23rd. They're not going to just look at inflation as one factor. They're using that as like a getting it back under control, which getting it back down to 2% sounds like they're not going to be too concerned about that. They're going to look at the overall economy. So they'll look at the GDP growth and they'll look at the unemployment rate, right? And see exactly where we stand. And maybe we're not in such, I mean, everybody is so like, nobody is willing to be hopeful of a soft landing. We all want a soft landing. Like it's like the best thing that could possibly happen. But everyone is always just like, no, forget the soft landing. Let's gear back up and go right back into buy. Or no, death. Everybody needs to sell. The market needs to crash 50%. This is not a good times. Like everyone seems to always be on bearable side of the equation, where it's like, why can't someone just be like, yeah, man, why don't we just land this thing real smooth and we have just enough time for people to be able to get out, and anybody new coming into the market isn't going to get burned by another 20% decrease from here? Like, why can't we all just like accept that might be a scenario that takes part? You know what the answer is as far as my forecast? I have no idea. How the heck am I supposed to know what the government's going to do and what the economy is going to do 2 years from now? Nobody does.
Sure. Well, everybody understands that you have no idea, but
good. It makes that clear.
I think there's enough things going on out in the economy and all around the world and all around us that gives anybody, depending on their perspective and I guess what they want to have happen, enough ammo to make a case for that, right? So you can easily make a case for why inflation should ramp up again based on all these crazy things going on in the world and all this crazy government spending going on, right? You can also make a case for it because rates are going down, right? You can also make a case for it because the government's trying to do anything they can to prop the goddamn thing back up again all of a sudden, right? But you can easily make a case for the idea that, this is all not really happening. We're just trading flat and there's some big pain ahead in the market and there could be another leg down, right? And you can make a case for everything in between that too, like a soft landing, because right now it kind of feels like maybe this moron at the Bank of Canada actually did a decent job. But we all know, TK.
How dare you?
But we all know it just looks like it for now because the stats are fake. The news is fake. Nothing that they tell us is the way it is. And you can't really rely on it, right? I would rather rely on talking to you and to a few other realtors and say, hey, well, listen, we can goof around, but the truth is you're like on one of the busiest teams on the planet, at least in the country, right? So you have some good insights, right? The show gives us some pretty, well, I don't know if you talk to all the people from the fan base that I do, but there's a lot of great boots on the ground insight out there that just comes to us right now, right? And so that mixed with the fact that I'm actually, in the market pretty heavy and doing a lot of stuff, I feel like we kind of have a pulse on things that maybe some people don't have, or some people kind of pretend to have, right? But let's
take a moment now to just appreciate the Canadian Real Estate Show.
We really should,
because we really we don't pump the market, in my opinion.
No,
and we're definitely not the doomsdayers. Want it to
go up for sure.
We definitely want it to go up. Yeah,
there's no doubt we want it to go up.
But I'm also we're realistic if it doesn't. I'm not like,
I'm not okay if it doesn't. But I mean, I plan for it not to. That's the thing, right? So it's one thing to be crazy and be sure that it's going to go up and make bets on that, right?
Yeah.
It's another thing.
Videos for like years about the same thing, and that never actually happens. Or it happens once, and you're like, yes, I knew it.
But not even videos. It's like you'd be crazy to be an investor and really believe that it's only going to be great. Like that's fucking insane, right? Yeah. But there's people like that. Don't get me wrong. But if you're a true
they're
investor,
using other people's money, so it's not.
No, but even if you're using other people's money, like your whole job is risk, right? Like your whole job is mitigation of risk, right? Limiting the risk for everybody. while making big money. And then people like that. And then they come back for more, right? And then soon they don't even look at the pro forma you put in front of them. They want to make more money, right?
Yeah.
But then there's some people that they don't really know what they're doing, or they get caught up in something screwed up. Anyways, I think I'm way off of what I was trying to even
You're just
say. I don't even know
completely
what the
off
hell I'm
topic
talking
today.
about right
I know.
now. And
Guys, if you're looking to be the co-host of the Canadian Real
yeah,
Estate
because
Show,
this
please
one's gone.
apply at
I'm out.
your local
No,
gas
but
station
the
because
point
we'll be
is,
accepting
TK,
applications.
is that we do have kind of a feel for what's going on out there, okay? And the
Yes, agreed.
reality right now, and why we flip and flop all the time, or at least in my head I'm flipping and flopping all the time, is because all kinds of things are changing, right?
New things come up.
Planning
Yeah.
is changing, and financing is changing, and insurance is changing, right? And then rates are changing. Like all of a sudden, we're sitting in an environment where rates are going up 10 million points in a very short time, and then all of a sudden we're back in an
Coming
environment
back down a
again,
little
right,
bit.
where they're
Doesn't
going
feel
down,
like
and
that
people
was
are
two
like,
years ago. Think about it. It's 2024. Like
it's
two
so
years
crazy.
ago was when the rates, like, because July was the 1 point, and then there was like some more that came up later that year, but really the bulk of it, right? So it's like there was a huge change in rates 2 years ago, and that 2 years was tough, but
Yeah.
like that was 2 years ago. That's a long time. And we're already
Well,
starting
I
back
mean, I
down.
guess it was a long
A little
time
bit of
depending
relief.
on where you are in the market, right? If
I
you're a
got another.
natural buyer, then you're probably a little fucked if you have to be a natural buyer in that
No,
whole
prices
environment, right?
no prices since then have been reasonable. Like
Did
so
people make
the
money
one
back?
this morning that I got sold conditional, we sold it for basically the same price they paid in 2021. But if it's 2022, those people are really nowhere near the prices that they paid, a lot of them. Like unless you bought it like the summer or fall of 2022, maybe you're lucky, but even still prices came down a little bit for a lot of those people. So there's some real hard cases in the beginning of 2022, end of 2021,
Yeah.
where
But
you just like, I don't know if it'll ever go back up to that price while you own it. You may
yeah,
have
but
to sell it 10 years from now for less than you bought it for. I don't know.
if you bought a house in Whitby for 1.6 million, okay, or if you bought in a crazy bidding war 350,000 over asking for something in Bancroft, okay, like you really should get a smack in the head and a check and maybe a restart, because you obviously need to learn a lesson, because that's fucking dumb. Whether the lesson is don't listen to the realtor that you bought it
First
through,
lesson. Yep.
right? That's probably a lesson. The second lesson maybe being don't buy from a non-local realtor. Although I imagine all the local realtors were like, yeah, I'll take the offer. Like, fuck, I don't give a shit. Not realizing how fucked up they were actually making their own market, right?
Yeah.
Because, like somebody with a
Any
brain would have been like, holy shit, this is going to be a real fucking problem. I guess a lot of people were saying that, right?
any market that you're entering, whether it's real estate or anything else, it's all about education. And so like for somebody just all of a sudden becoming a real estate investor overnight because they know that their friends had some success doing it after 20 years, like yeah, give your head a shake. It would be like you just going in and just like starting to pick stocks, starting to pick some sort of investment projects, investing in some company. Imagine an unsecured loan to some real estate developer like yourself, right? Where you're just like, oh, John says he's got a great project. I'm going to give John $50,000, and he says that he's going to like. There's how many deals do you think happen like that? How many of those promissory note,
Yeah.
house of card portfolios
Yeah.
that we've already seen a few of them collapse, and there's going to be more, right? Like the
Yeah.
one that was up in Owen Sound there. There was one out in Saskatchewan, and there's going to be more of those right now that are struggling, that are just, taking every little bit of money they can from whoever's still willing to invest to pay off investors who are, still part of their Ponzi schemes, right? Like think about how many people are in that situation, and it was
But
just strictly because they were uneducated on the topic.
so, but isn't this the epitome, what you're talking about, of the Burr method? Like, isn't that part of the problem, is all these people buying these stupid houses in stupid places and refinancing the shit out of them so that they can buy
It's
even more of
it's
them?
why the good deals are, if they're not asking you to be an accredited investor,
Well,
you
that's a
should be
whole other
careful.
story too. Yeah.
right? There's a reason that the best deals, like I know when people, oh, you got to have money to get in these deals, but like a big project that's got a lot of risk, that there's also a lot of return potential, right? Needs to be, as far as how the securities people work, needs to be offered to people who are seasoned. Now, accredited investor, I mean, they only just base it off of income and assets and stuff like that. You may know nothing, but at least they know that you can recuperate from that loss because you've got significant assets or income.
Are you an accredited investor, ma'am? I don't know. I think so. How much money do you have? I have $25,000. You're accredited with me, sweetie.
No,
come sign right here.
The rules are strict and it makes sense, and
it's
definitely a process that you got to go through, but it does make sense. So if you're getting into something and they're not requiring you to be an accredited investor, chances are, chances are that actually comes with a lot more risk than the ones that are for accredited investors, because if they are for accredited investors, it means that there's going to be some sort of oversight by a company, like in your case, Cranston Capital, or some other type of regulated securities company.
I was just on
that they've underwrote the deal. They've looked into it for you in order to make sure that everything is profitable.
I had to meet with the accountants today because there's like a third party special, auditor company.
Exactly.
That has to check in with me every once in a while and make sure that, the numbers make sense and I'm spending money where I'm. Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of people.
Feel better. So I'm like, Darryl's got the money. He's fine. Darryl knows what he's doing. He's the co-host of the Canadian Real Estate Show. Come on, look at his jacket.
It's set up in a way that it protects everybody, right? Because everybody wants to be protected. So I don't get all the money. I get money in little doses every time, I need some money. And it's better for me too. It protects me from me because, some people do stupid shit when they have a whole bunch of money sitting in the bank account, right? I'll just do another deal, pay back later. It's okay. They don't care if I buy a Ferrari. Like, I'm doing a good job.
It's a promotional item, right? Promotional expense.
Right? Everybody needs to see
me in that
Ferrari
outside. Then people will be like, wow, this must be the home of somebody really important. Yeah.
No, but listen, there's a lot of people that go home and say, oh, honey, oh my God, I can't wait to tell you. Like, I got this great news. This Donnie at work, I gave him $100,000 today to invest in, whatever the fuck. And it's like, what? You did what? Yeah, don't worry about it. Donnie said it's a sure thing. Like, this is a home run. We're going to double our money in the next 6 weeks. Trust me. Right? How often does that actually happen? Or does somebody come home and go, oh, honey, we got to sell a house because I got a gambling problem.
Stocks,
that you didn't know
that kind of stuff. But stocks, I think,
stock market went to
right?
Shit.
Because somebody could go and buy stocks with their life savings without having any real knowledge of those companies whatsoever. Right. So it's actually safer to be buying in a development like yours than it would be just picking some random stock from some random company. That's some up and coming company that's supposed to make it big. Like an IPO of some no name.
Yeah, but the problem is the people, the investors, okay? A lot of them are dumb and they don't actually do the due diligence. They go to the party, they look around, they look at the brochures.
I know.
Right? But and then later, it's like they can point the finger at the guy who should have known better when everything falls apart, right? But these people, like you're saying, accredited or not accredited, if you're going to give your money, right, to somebody else, to make you more money. Like, it's like the people in the comments to call me a realtor, for fuck's sakes. It's like you're one button away from realizing that I'm not a realtor, right? Like, why just assume that I'm a realtor? I could be like everything other than a realtor on earth, right?
Yeah.
But it's like people are so dumb.
Guilty
they don't even do the one
real
layer.
Estate show. It's in the name. It's real estate show. Got to be real estate.
Yeah, developer can't be a developer, can't be a lawyer, right? Can't be anything else, right? I can't be a chiropractor, for God's sakes, and talk about real estate in my spare time.
Chiropractic's a scam. Don't.
Okay, here, let's talk about this while I'm getting all riled up here. Police investigate after Vancouver anti-Israeli protester burns the Canadian flag while shouting "Death to Canada." TK, what the fuck is happening?
We are the
in
only
this
country where you can do that and probably nothing would happen to you.
Nothing happens.
You know how many countries in the world if you did that, like, okay, I can only talk about like Thailand for example, right? Like in Thailand, they're so like patriotic and everything's so important. If you put money on the ground and you step on it because it has a picture of the king, that's like the most disrespectful thing. Like,
Sacrilege. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Burning the flag and something like that. It's just like they just kill you in the streets. And I don't even know if that's true or not, but like
snipers waiting for you to do it.
basically
right?
you just explode.
Drop that gum.
You just
Drop
explode.
that gum.
Everyone's got a built-in little thing on them. If they ever burn a flag, they just explode. They give it to you at birth.
Pager.
But that's basically how it is in those type of patriotic countries. In the States, you'll get beat up by a bunch of guys in trucks with mullets.
Okay,
but,
in
Canada, nothing.
I sat in my office for days while those truckers sat there in Ottawa honking their little hearts out. Okay, bringing myself to tears over and over again. And then TK, I couldn't believe my eyes when I watched the RCMP mounted on horseback smash over this poor woman in her wheelchair, TK, because they wanted to work, TK. They were Canadians dancing around with bouncy castles, having a barbecue, drinking beers, having a party, honking their horns. And they got trampled and they got arrested and they got their money taken out of their bank accounts. And these motherfuckers, they come here, okay? They come here, they live in hotels, they get free money, they get free food, they get free clothes, and they're fucking burning our flags and yelling death to Canada. What the fuck happened to them in the time that they've been here, for the few months that they've been here? What the fuck happened to them that they're like death to Canada and burning the Canadian flag, TK? Don't make me get my tinfoil hat out, TK, but there's bigger things going on here than just some angry immigrants that can't find a rental building. No? It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. How is this going on in Canada, though? Like, honestly, you're not that much younger, but like, you
there's
grew
always
up.
Going to be people who are going to be.
But this is next level, man. This
having
is
their
next
own
level.
They have their own issues. They got their own issues, and they attach themselves to the problems that the world is facing, and they become very passionate. Every time there's a new war or there's a new thing going on, there's always going to be little conflicts. I'm not going to comment on all this because I don't understand it. I'm ignorant to it, but I know that there's the people who go to extreme lengths like this. It's not necessarily about the situation or the topic or the controversy. It has a lot more to do with what they got going inside their head than anything else.
TK, you know? This is like me bringing you, okay? Let's say I invite you to my boobies place for dinner, okay? And I'm like, come for Shabbat dinner on Friday to Booby's place, TK. I want to introduce you.
It's
and you come in there.
Tomorrow's a New Year. Is it tomorrow?
I don't know. I think it's past. Listen, that's not the point. We're not trying to show how good a Jew I am.
Aren't you a good Jew?
I don't know why I brought the Shabbat thing into it, but listen, hear me out, TK. And you come in there, okay?
Yom Kippur.
And first, Rosh Hashanah, I think. But maybe it's Yom Kippur now. It doesn't matter, TK. This is not the point.
It's not a good Jew, guys. I'm highlighting this. I'm so sorry, Darryl.
So you walk in,
part of the show if you want.
Okay. And you don't take your shoes off first, and everybody's looking like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Okay, he's from out of town. He's from Scarborough. He's not Jewish. Okay, we'll let that slide, right? Okay. And then we bring out the matzo ball soup, and you take a bite, and you fucking throw it back at my grandmother, and you say, "What is this shit?" Okay, and then TK, after when the brisket comes out. Yeah. You tell my booby how to make it. Okay.
Wow.
You tell booby Frankfort. Okay. Yeah. Why didn't you add more garlic? What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you even know how to cook? But same thing. Now. And then TK, you take my booby's sweater that she made, my blanket, not a sweater. Sorry. The baby blanket that she knitted for me. Okay,
she should have done a better job.
Shabbat candle, and you burn it in front of everybody. TK.
Listen, this story has nothing to do with real estate or anything else.
Thing.
So next time you tell me my stories suck, just remember your booby story and your brisket on the holiday that you can't remember which one it is.
More relevant to real estate than yours.
Somebody needs to get to the synagogue real quick.
Oh my God! But TK, this is out of control. The country now, but it's the same thing. Like they come in here. Okay, they come in here.
Darryl, let's get this back on track.
Okay.
Let's get this back on track.
I think this is relevant. I think it's relevant, TK.
I think that the country itself, Canada, we
need a change.
Got a lot of people right now who are upset. Okay, we got an election coming up, and you guys get a chance to vote. That's how democracy works.
Because voting is real.
But at the end of the day, burning flags or complaining online or making videos about how the things are, not the way that they're supposed to be, changes absolutely nothing. Okay. And
No.
so, like everything else, we're here in this country. By the way,
well, why is it allowed though?
We're trapped in this country. By
why
the
is
way,
it allowed?
This is not like a global.
I feel trapped.
This is not a global state where you can just be like, all right, made all my money in Canada, I'm going to go somewhere else. No, they're going to tax you to leave, and they will tax your income, and they will take your assets, and they will do anything that they have the right to do, because Canada owns you. That's what having that Canadian passport does. They own you until you pay them to not own you anymore. Okay, this is modern day slavery. It's how the governments work in order to be able to fund their agendas. So if you don't like it, pay the price, and then you can go. Otherwise, you play by the rules. You figure out what the tax laws are. You figure out how things work. You figure out what you need to do to be able to get ahead. We're all playing by the same rules here. They're all the same rules for everybody else. So I'm not going to go around complaining about them. I'm going to figure out a way how to do it. We all have the same opportunities to be able to go do the things they want to do. Get your real estate license. You know what you need to be to be a realtor? You got to take a few exams.
Yeah.
You got to be 18 years old, and you got to have a pulse.
Can't go 0 to 100 though. Like you got to stop at 30 or 50 along the way. Like, why is everybody going so crazy? And why?
I'm just saying, you got options out there. You don't like realtors, get your real estate license. You don't like the government, go into politics. You don't like the way your kids' teachers are teaching the kids?
Yeah.
Go become a teacher. Like, come on, guys.
And so what if you don't like what Israel's doing? Then what do?
You
burn the Canadian flag.
No, you stay in Canada. And you don't go to Israel. If you want to change Israel, move to Israel.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like the people that come here should be like, shit, we better shut up and not even tell anybody because this is way fucking better than what we just came from. Like,
that's what I think it is. Never lived anywhere else.
What the fuck is happening? Okay, anyway.
In red and white.
What else do we got, TK? Because we're running out of time. If we haven't already. Okay, we talked about the rebound, nothing burger. There are usually, TK, 2,600 condos available for rent at this time of year in the Toronto area.
Okay.
And today, there are over 8,000 units.
Mm.
And the average rents are down only 5%.
Okay.
So now, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Good. So, I mean, we've been talking about immigration. So now obviously the new foreign student visas are going to be limited. The schools have now got limitations on them. The provinces are getting involved. So they're all making sure that the federal government doesn't overload us. So yeah, we're going to have a downtick in the demand for rental. That's just
downtick.
Absolutely.
100%. A downtick.
In the demand. Now on the supply side, we're constantly looking at bringing on new units. There's really a lot of units that are coming on new right now that they can't afford to sell them because they're not going to get the prices that they need to get. There's a lot of people out there who aren't able to sell because the condo market's having some issues. And so they're listing them for sale and for lease. They don't really want to list them for lease. So there's also going to be an increase into the supply side as well, too. Doesn't mean that they're going to be renting, but that there is going to be more for lease listings and there'll be less of a demand. So maybe that's why the rental market isn't collapsing, right? With those numbers, they're painting a picture like, oh my gosh, rents are about to go down. Gosh, but
I mean, shouldn't they be going down?
They should be going down. Yeah, but not to the point where it's like there's 8,000 people who are all desperately trying to rent out their apartments and will do anything for it. Not out there.
But I wish somebody would really give us a real picture of how many of these units are, units that people would want to buy, right?
Not the percentage of those small, tiny little units is very small.
You think it's small?
Units, it's small. Overall, the amount of those tiny units.
But that's all they build. Like,
no.
I'm looking at plans where people show, okay, 900 square feet is currently considered a big 2-bedroom, okay, in downtown Toronto. 900 square feet is 900 square feet is probably a 3-bedroom in some buildings if 100%. It's on a corner, right?
Yeah, 100%.
TK, 900 square feet is very small.
It's an old 1-bedroom, yeah.
It's very small. Yeah. Old 1-bedroom, holy cow, like, I don't know what my boobie's apartment size was. It was big. It was like 3 bedrooms, had a hallway and had, a big dining room and a family room and a kitchen and a balcony. It had everything. I don't know how big it was though, but it feels like it was probably like 1,600 square feet, right? And even that, like I've been on a tour and going to see different size units, right? I'm telling you, like even 1,500 square feet is not gigantic. 2,000 square feet like starts to feel kind of,
Bottom
spacey.
bottom bottom line is to end the show here on this final thought. Okay. We've talked about it before. The people who right now who are living in the large units are living in too large of a unit. There's people who are baby boomers living in houses or big apartments or whatever it is that need to house families. And that eventually the stock will change. I don't believe that we're in a situation where we've built the wrong product. I think we have just enough of the right product, and that there will be obviously more condos coming online, more condo units coming online in Toronto from here on out. We're not going to get housing. There's going to be more condos outside of the GTA as well too, but not that much. The demand's not that high. They'll find places to build more houses as you get further and further away from Toronto. But as the aging population gets older and the cost of those retirement homes and everything else like that becomes more and more inaccessible to most, they will be moving into those condo units. And they're going to say, like, it's always like this adjustment, right? This reality check where they're like, oh, I want a 1,200 square foot unit. Oh, well, it's this much money. Oh, you want to find just 1,000. Okay, fine, just 800. Grandma's going to be living in a 4 or 5, 600
Yeah.
square foot unit because that's what she would have been living in at the nursing home because that's what she can afford on her budget in order to be able to have care coming in to take care of her. And that's how the shift will happen. And the families will go into the housing, and that will be in a very flat period of growth. We're not going to have the growth we experienced over the last 20 years ain't happening again. It's not a chance that it's going to happen again because the people who drove that growth are the people who are going to be leaving the market now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That generation, they're the ones who bid up those prices over the last 20 years and funding their kids right now to do the same thing. So that will all change hands, and we'll get the will be a much more efficient version of Canada 20 years from now. So the housing per household, people per household will increase, and that will have a lot more utilized space. And so
People
that way
per
we won't
household.
need to, because we can't solve this housing crisis by building.
No, people per household will increase, but size per space they live in will decrease, I would
Yes.
imagine, right?
Square footage per person will decrease. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say is that it's just inefficient right now. So like those 3 people living in the 600 square foot unit doesn't make sense, but that one person living in the 2,000 doesn't make sense. When they switch, all of a sudden we're going to say, oh, wow, that makes a lot more sense. And that the efficiency is going to increase through the roof once the properties do change hands. That's what happens.
I think the one thing that will actually bring affordability to the market, which won't still happen for a while, we just saw some pretty great progress towards it in the last couple of days. I don't know if you were following what Tesla kind of showed the world this week with their robots. Did you
Which
see
one?
that?
Well, I saw a few things. So tell me.
So the Optimus robot, the one that kind of walks around and talks to you and can now serve drinks and water plants and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
That there is going to be something that definitely brings down the cost of construction because there are so many little jobs on the job site that robots can actually do already. It's insane.
Well, the article that caught my mind about that may not be the most appropriate one, but basically was those robots are going to render men useless because women will just be able to have that robot just do all of the same things that their current male partners do for them around the house.
Yeah.
So guys, we're getting replaced by robots in all areas of our life. It's over for us. It's all Elon's fault.
Yeah, listen, I mean, we'll be able to focus on other things, but it's really coming down the pipe.
How to take down the robots.
Soon there will be factories pumping out these little tiny shitty houses for our grandparents and maybe even me, TK. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to live in one of these tiny little portables. Are they going to be portable? Can they
I want to be
take
like
me
in the
away
Jetsons.
one day?
I just want to have a little area that I live in, that I fly around, and I can park it anywhere I want. I want an oceanfront view. I want to be in downtown, wherever it is, but I got my pad and it's in the sky and it's got like a dock and I can just take it around anywhere I want to go. That's what I want.
I'm pretty sure that it didn't work like that in the Jetsons, but I like what you're thinking.
Like
and
the
I like
Jetsons.
where it's going. But
Futuristic.
something has to change. And that's for damn sure. Because
And it ain't
this is
happening
not
on this
working.
show.
No,
but
we will never
we'll talk
change.
about it anyways. Thanks, guys. We
I'm
appreciate. We love our fans, man. You guys
do.
have no idea.
You guys have
You
no
guys
idea.
are
And
the best.
if any of you are still here and you think that we will ever stop talking over each other, I'll bet today was a record to get. And
I don't
I'm
know if that's a good
positive it's
record or
not
a bad
just me.
record.
Okay. You cut me off every 10
Love
seconds too. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Adios,
Thanks, Joe.
amigos. Have a nice day.